Well, this is how Mount Washington, New Hampshire looked on Friday evening as it was getting battered by 127 mile per hour winds. It was still warm at this time, though. The wind chill was only 101 degrees below zero. It bottomed out at least 108 degrees below zero later Friday evening. Then that number happened again early on Saturday morning, February 4th. What's going on, guys? Meteorologist Jonathan Kegges back with you. We are going to break down the big historic blast of Arctic cold that invaded the northern tier of the country. And again, extreme weather in parts of New Hampshire, certainly up above 6,000 feet at the summit of Mount Washington. We'll talk about when this round of Arctic air leaves. Big warm-up is coming to a lot of the country over the next few days. And then we're going to see if there's any kind of potential for any more stormy weather down the pipeline. But again, this looks like it's a time lapse. It's not. This is what was happening in real time last evening. Again, that screenshot there from, or that video from the observatory on Mount Washington. Absolutely crazy stuff. And again, that chill is ongoing as we speak. Let's take a look at this. We still see, as of 11 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, February 4th, I have the wind gusts overlaid, and we still have gusts again on the mountain of about 80 miles an hour or so. Here is what it looks like in real time. This is real-time data coming in from the observatory now. And right in the middle of your screen, I'm going to turn the telestration on, is the little speedometer there. That is no joke. 80 mile per hour winds. That is sustained. The wind chill has warmed up a little bit. There it is. Negative 78 degrees below zero. That is the current wind chill. So it has warmed up by about, 50 degrees in terms of how it feels outside. The last wind gust reported was 106 miles an hour on the top of the mountain. And again, there is no stopping on Saturday. It's not going to be as extreme tonight, but I mean, what is after you've just felt, I hope nobody felt that, a wind chill of 108 degrees below zero. I'm going to get you back to the map because it's not just Mount Washington that is dealing with the cold. It is a lot of the northern tier of the country. I'm going to turn on the thermometer, or the temperature reading, I should say. Look at how cold it is in Maine. These are the actual air temperatures, and we're talking widespread again. 15 below, 19 below, 22 degrees below zero. In extreme southeast Canada, 19 below in central Maine. Caribou, close to 10 to 15 degrees below zero without the wind factored in. And again, we've had wind chills all across the northern tier of the country of about 40 to 50 degrees below zero. So again, it was a very limited blast of cold air, really, to the extreme northern tier. And it got cold in a lot of spots. I'm talking about the extreme stuff. Northern tier of the country over the past couple of days. Quickly, though, we are going to warm things back up. I want to show you now some of the relief. If you're not a fan of the cold, we're going to look at the temperature anomalies over the next couple of days. So we're going to fast forward this out. This is going to be through Sunday, and you see that little batch of purple here? That is where the core of that cold air, a piece of the polar vortex breaking off. Now look at this. It quickly gets out of here. By Sunday morning already, it's still going to be cold in the Northeast, but it's going to be better. Anything's better than 40 below in Maine and New Hampshire and Vermont and upstate New York and Boston, 30 below. Crazy stuff. But look at all the red coming back down the pipeline through across a lot of the country. That's already on Sunday. Take this out further. Then we get a blowtorch again back to the Northeast. This is going to be already on Tuesday. These are the anomalies at a couple thousand feet above the ground. Insane reversal in the temperature department. We're going to build this trough in the west, and that allows that cold to build back into the west. It is great to see everybody again. Hey, Texas Storm Boy, good morning. It is looking better in North Texas. Hey, Ann, what's going on? It is cold, but I'm with you. It's kind of cold in Florida on this Saturday morning, but I guess we can't complain when it's not 108 degrees below zero. Just crazy stuff. Insane. Hey, Michelle, what's going on? It's going to warm up. We'll take a look at that for you further down here in just a little bit. Welcome to everybody that's just joining. It's good to see you again. If you are enjoying what you're watching, hit that thumbs up button. That would really help me out a lot. And if you like talking about all things weather, consider subscribing. If you are finding us for the first time, post that in the comments. I missed you guys over the last couple of weeks. Interesting. Thank you, Matt, for that update. Hey, Paisley, good to see you again in the Great Lakes region. They want to get muddy. All that snow is melting. Good morning, Serenity 2020. All right, so we're going to take a look at some of this. We're going to go to the wide view here of the United States. Here's the deal. Big cold front. Again, that's what delivered everything. This is going to be later this afternoon. That cold front has moved its way down towards the Florida Straits. It's going to kind of be an ugly day in Florida for anybody that's tuning in from Florida for your Sunday. We start to get some of that moisture to push back towards the peninsula, and I think we're going to be stuck in the clouds and have a pretty decent shot of rain. So if you're heading that way to visit to try to warm up, it's going to be kind of ugly. You're going to have to wait till the middle of the week. We're talking low to mid 80s by the middle of the upcoming work week. Post in the comments where you're watching from if you are just joining, and hit that thumbs up button. I would appreciate that a ton. Also, a little sneaky thing here. This will be something that we'll probably talk about later on. Big storm blows up here out in the middle of the Atlantic and then kind of works its way towards the Canadian Maritimes and out into the North Atlantic. Notice how a lot of the week is kind of quiet. So we're here to Tuesday now. Here's going to be our next thing. It's a system that it's warm. Again, we're talking about a huge warm-up coming over the next few days. And look at all that green. That is rain. So no snow coming to the Northeast. Again, I know we finally got snow in New York City. If anybody's tuning in from the Northeast, let me know. We finally got measurable snow in New York City. I mean, it was less than a half an inch. But at least we ended the second longest snow drought in recorded history. Again, we set the record for latest time without measurable snow. Hey, Dusty in Arkansas, what's going on? What's going on Northeast PA? There may be one little trick up the atmosphere's sleeve as we get into early March. That is the last gasp. It's the best the patterns looked, in my opinion, all winter for snow in the southeast and snow in the northeast along the I-95 corridor, in my opinion. Once you get into March, though, things start to get weird because things also begin to warm up. You're fighting the sun angle and all that stuff, so we can take a look at that a little down the pipeline as well. Let's go out into the future a little bit more. And this is the next big system, I think, as we get into the upcoming weekend that's likely going to be talked about. And I'm sure there's going to be model runs that show a lot of snow in the Northeast, and there could be. But just like everything else, I think it's more going to be focused on interior Northeast. Right along the I-95 corridor, again, I think we miss out on snow again. All right, so we'll get further out into the future in just a little bit. I want to show you, I'm going to take you through the temperature progression. We are going to go look at the actual temperatures. That was the anomaly, just to show you on a widespread scale that after that we are really going to start to warm things back up. Now, there are a lot of numbers that are about to start popping up on your screen, but I want to kind of give you a view, and I'll point them out as best I can. And again, hit me up, post in the comments where you're looking for, and then I can show you at least the model output here for some of this snow. Some of the temperatures. See, I'm trying to will it into existence for my snow lovers out there. If you want snow, hit that thumbs up button. I want to see the thumbs up. the likes go up if you are a fan of snow. Hey, Matt, good to see you in Southern California. 68 degrees. Yeah, I think you guys are mainly the only people that are missing out, if you want to call it that, missing out on this blast of Arctic air. So here we go. This is going, let's get into the early part of the week. So this is going to be Monday night now, and note the warmth really surging back. So we have Monday night, the 60s is about this line. So St. Louis will be flirting with the 60s. I think we'll probably stay in the 50s. Most of Texas in the 70s. Through Louisiana, I saw my friend in DeRidder was back. Thank you again for always tuning in. There is the 70s. There are the 70s. And then we're going to take this out further and watch the warmth kind of expand up a little bit. This is Wednesday. Now moving into Tennessee. So we'll be talking about the mid-60s, maybe upper 60s into parts of north central Tennessee. I think the 80s have a shot to come back by this time in Florida, maybe even into South Georgia. And then as we get into Friday afternoon, look at how warm it is in the southeast. The Florida Peninsula is baking. Look at all this. Huge, huge warmth through Florida. Now, you can almost kind of see where the warm front is going to be draped here because we do have a dividing line. So when I say warming up, it's not going to be like springtime in the Northeast, but it's better than 40 below with the wind. We still have teens in the northern tier of Maine. We're talking 20s and 30s in upstate New York, more like the 50s, low 60s in South Jersey, getting into D.C. The cold will focus back to the western part of the United States. So the pattern typically goes topsy-turvy when one side of the country is warm, the other side of the country is cold, where we get those troughs and ridges. That's how the weather pattern typically works, unless there's something blocking up the flow. So I do, and specifically though, it's going to be focused on the southeast. So Storm Boys is asking about the next round of cold. I'm going to take you back at least to the anomaly that I was showing you before. It kind of paints a better picture. This is going to be at 850 millibars, a couple thousand feet above our heads. And there's, again, just to show you, there's that ridiculous blast of cold air. It's been crazy. We've already talked about and showed you the video how ridiculous it was on Mount Washington in parts of New England last night and this morning. Here comes the warmth. Again, these are temperature anomalies. So the brighter the red and the white and the brown color, that means that we have big time warmth coming back. So that warmth does stick with us. So in Texas, here we go. There's Monday. You're really warm. Okay. And then we are going to go further out. And here comes some of that cold. So already by the middle part of the week, and it's all relative. We have a little bit of cold coming here through Oklahoma, parts of the deep south. We have a little upper low developing down in here that's going to help to cool us down. And then there's that secondary blast here by Friday. So again, the opposite here of the reds and the browns, it's going to be the blue and green color. That's where we're talking about temperatures way below normal, especially a couple thousand feet above our heads to kind of track the air masses here. And then kind of the same thing. This is what we see. Now, I mentioned, I do think more often than not, through the middle of February, there's always opportunity. When I say things are going to be warmer than normal, I'm talking about like on the widespread scale, there will be blasts of cold air kind of sneaking in. But in terms of like a really good below normal pattern, I don't see that through the middle part of February. I think that could change as we get into late the last few days of February and maybe through the first week of March. And then I will write winter off. I think I'm ready to hold on just a little bit. Just a little bit. Hope you have an awesome day as well, Michelle. And hope you get some time off. Hope you get to relax a little bit. For those that are just joining the live stream, welcome. I'm meteorologist Jonathan Kegges. We talk and track all things weather. I need more coffee this morning. It's not hitting as hard or good as it usually does. Let me know if you're drinking coffee this morning as we approach 11:15 Eastern Time, 10:15 Central. I think once we get into early March, that is when we are going to have an opportunity for some snow and more cold along the east, along the I-95. When I say northeast, I'm focused on I-95 because at least we've had snow and we've had winter in interior New England. We've had a couple of storms at least come on through, but we've missed out largely. I know we finally got a little bit of snow along I-95, but it's nothing crazy. All right, so I want to show you for everybody that's just joining, I want to go back to the temperatures. And again, we can already see things warming up. Again, it's all relative. So for my friends in the Northern Plains, 44 degrees in Montana. That's shorts weather, okay? For those that are not familiar, here's kind of that ridge building back because it's still pretty cold in Minnesota, but still 3 degrees at International Falls in early February. It's a very nice morning. It sounds crazy to think, but Minnesotans are very hardy people. They will grill outside in that weather. Teens do a lot of Michigan, UP of Michigan, Sault Ste. Marie, Marquette, 15, 16 degrees. At least we're above zero. Just look at all of this cold. Again, these are actual air temperatures. 15 degrees below zero, 10 degrees below zero in Caribou, Maine. Again, actual air temperatures. Winds are still gusting to 40 miles an hour. Oh my gosh. That hurts. Just ugly. 39 is cold. It's all relative. It is all relative. I was just in Pittsburgh, and I was freezing, and it was in the 30s. But I've been in Florida for some time now, so it's crazy. If you are just tuning in, welcome. If you're finding us for the first time, I would love to know about it. Post that in the comments below. Hey, look at this. In North Carolina, I think the sensor might be broken. We've got 2 sensors. You see that? It's showing 91 degrees just inside of Cape Hatteras. 88 degrees. That is definitely an error, unless somebody took a hairdryer to the temperature sensors out there in North Carolina. That is definitely wish casting. 88 degrees on a February afternoon or February morning in North Carolina. Crazy stuff. All right, I'm going to leave you guys one last thing. Talk about the week ahead in terms of videos. I'm going to try to get one out on Monday that talks about where I see the rest of the winter going. So look for that. I think it's our best shot for winter weather so far this year along the I-95 corridor in parts of the South. But it always teases, but it's pattern recognition, and we have more pieces than we really have had before. I do think so too, especially the first half of March. And this is what I hate. If I can go on a rant real quick, we waste all the good cold in the core of winter, and then when we want spring, it's that kind of crappy weather. It's that crappy weather, and it's where the weather doesn't know what it wants to do and warm up to spring. Hey, James, good to see you again. It is coming. That big warm-up is coming, but I think there will be a little hiccup in early March to bring back some cold along the Jersey Shore. I don't know yet if you're going to get snow because it's just really, really hard to determine, especially like 6 weeks out, or I guess 4 weeks out. Geez, we're already in February. But nonetheless, I do think you're going to get in on some cold. Yeah, I mean, you're right. That's just the way it is. Alrighty, guys. Hey, it was so awesome to see everybody. Thank you for tuning in on this Saturday morning, this very cold Saturday morning, but we cannot complain when we're looking at this. Again, this is real-time data coming through from Mount Washington in New Hampshire, about 6,000 feet up, a little less than that, I think, at the observatory. The winds are still gusting at 106 miles an hour. The wind chill is 78 degrees below zero. But believe it or not, that is about 30 degrees warmer from where it was this morning when it was a frigid 108 degrees below zero with the wind factored in. That unofficially breaks the record for coldest wind chill ever recorded in the United States and potentially even coldest wind chill ever recorded on the planet. Now, the key word is recorded. There has likely been a wind chill colder than that in Antarctica. There's just nobody there to record it where that would occur. Okay, so the caveat is recorded. No matter how you slice it, though, it's frigid. It's cold. And again, we'll wait to see if that becomes official. But several times last night and several times this morning, the wind chill reading did get to 108 degrees below zero. Thank you so much. That it does. It always does. So we will see. Storm Boys, are you talking about just the timing of the severe weather season? If you're interested in the severe weather stuff, I mean, that's where La Nina, being able to get the La Nina pattern and hold that into spring would enhance the severe weather season. So if you're talking about that, if we have something like this coming through in April or May, cold here, warm coming up, that's what you would need. So you'd want to have these kind of blasts of cold sliding in just like that. We are supposed to go neutral. We'll go neutral likely as we get into summer, and then there are indications we might go full-blown El Nino by the peak of hurricane season, which would be great in theory. It takes a little bit. It takes a little bit of time for the atmosphere to kind of react to the changing conditions on that front, but yeah, it does look like we'll try to get into a more ENSO neutral pattern over the next couple of months, and then potentially even a full-blown El Nino by the peak of hurricane season. And gosh, I really hope we knock things down in the Atlantic. We don't need anything else. Rough year last year. Alrighty, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you're finding us for the first time, I'm meteorologist Jonathan Kegges. We track and talk all things weather. If you enjoyed our conversation today, and I hope you did, please give this a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. And if you like to talk weather, hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you on board. Thanks so much, guys. It's been great to talk to you again, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate everybody.